yeah, that's all aluminum. It's everywhere. It's all over the bench. It's all over the place. I just blew these out, but I need to clean this area so I can hang the engine back on here. And hopefully this time it will go together. Everything is clearanced. Yes, clearance. We have clearance. I'm losing my mind. Last night I was literally singing to myself about how crazy I was. That's when you know you're starting to lose it. Making up rhymes. Singing to yourself to keep yourself calm because things are not going your way. So my goal of having this done by the end of the month, I don't know. We'll see. I still got a lot of work to do. I thought by now this engine would be together, but you know, things don't always go the way you want them to. I had 3 different problems with this. When I had the old crank in, it spun around okay. I did notice some problems, but my fault. I should have checked to see if the crank was spinning without hitting anything. I thought I had a case here that was clearanced for a larger crank. Apparently I was wrong. The more I get into this, the more I learn about it. I missed. Let's bring you guys in closer for this. I will smooth these out. Well, first I got to do the other side, but I'll smooth them out with the sander and sanding wheel on the Dremel. But I also had to grind this out of here and this out of here. It looks funky because of the sunlight hitting the different angles, but it's pretty smooth. But I'm still going to sand all that out. And I clearanced this a little bit because it was awful close. I wanted to make sure I had a couple thou in there. But now she's looking good. I did all the mock-up with the old bearings and the old crank. It's exactly the same. Molly bearings and the CB Performance 76 crank. I'm going to do the other side, and hopefully I can wash this thing all out today and maybe start putting it back together. I've said that many times. Hopefully this is the time. Let's see what happens next. These are all clearance now. I took the sharp edge off of the edge here too, all the way around. I did a little more clearancing on the lifter pads, and you can see those are clearanced now too. A lot of cleanup, little chunky stuff that was hanging off the case, that's gone. There was like a big sand bubble from the molding in there. I took that out. I had to stop myself because I could have been in here for days. But I didn't want to do that. I'm done. Hopefully I'm 100% satisfied now. This thing's going to slap back together. I mocked everything up. I torqued it all down. I did the rubber band trick like Jawbreaker shows you with the rods, and made sure everything was clearing, and she spins free now. All right, it's cleanup time. Maybe I'll add a couple clips just for fun, so you know how this really goes. It's just not bing bam boom cut, it's together. There's all kinds of work in between that takes up way more time than you think, and it adds up quickly. You think you're going to get this and this done in one day. No, you're going to get one thing done, then clean up, then get all the new tools out. It doesn't end. But it's good thing I enjoy doing this, or I would have been super frustrated by now. Like I said, I have a little bit of experience building cars. I built that one. I've had that car for 26 years now. Yeah, I had this Firebird when I was in my 20s. I'm now in my 50s. So I've had this thing for a long time, and I've had it apart probably 3 different times. Time to clean up. I'll be back. There is aluminum literally stuck to everything. This is nuts. It's everywhere. Everywhere. It's everywhere, man. This has been drying for like a half hour. It's still wet. It's just so humid today. All right, this is obviously going to take a while, and I still got to hit it with brake cleaner. I got to clean this thing out really good. Ooh, there's a mouthful of carb cleaner. Now that I'm buzzed, What was I saying? Wow. Like I said, this was filled with little metal shavings, so this needs to be cleaned thoroughly. And then I got to measure for the sump, and then get the sump installed in the block, and then we'll go from there. Welcome to the glamorous life of rebuilding a Volkswagen engine. Doing the double nut trick. I'm going to take all these out. They have a very little tiny bit, I think, of gasket cinch on there, but it's pretty dry and crusty. But I need to take these out, clean it one more time, dry it, blow it out, and then hopefully I can put this back together in with some blue Loctite, something that's going to seal better than what's in there now. So I'm going to try and save these, but got to get just the right pressure on that vice grip, and then back these off. And if you're lucky, you won't destroy the threads, which looks like I did a good job on that one. There we go. And I didn't ruin any of them. Beautiful. You probably can't see it, but there is a lip on a burr on every single one of these. I'm probably gonna have to clean that up a little bit. Not sure if that's a big deal, but I'm probably going to knock it down and clean this all up. Same here. Clean these surfaces, flatten them out, maybe even put it on a piece of paper, sandpaper, and do that for a second just to make sure it's smooth. Then we can clean all the threads out, clean the entire piece again, and then we can get ready to put this puppy in. Because we don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. Oh yeah, there's my hole from when I tried to braze this to here. It just blew right through it. This cheap aluminum. I tried to solder it on there, and I put the heat on it, and just it blew right through it. And when it was in there, you could blow through this, and there's just air coming out. You can see the little slits right here to slide over this pipe. If you blew air through here, there was air coming out of here, there's air coming out of here, so this was not sucking very good oil from the bottom of the sump. So this thing is history. Replaced by one of these. But that's the plan anyway. So to sand this down, we got an old block. Put some 150 on it, and then I'll finish it off 600. Just smooth it out a little bit, but we're just gonna clean these lips off of here. I don't know if you can see those shiny spots, but you can see how it's flattening this thing out. These are low spots, these are high spots. So this is definitely working. Switch to 600, smooth her out a little bit. Keeping it very flat, not putting a ton of pressure on it, letting the sandpaper do the work. This is steel back, but it is flexy. But as long as I keep it flat like that, and just sanding 101. Let the sandpaper do the work. Alright, way better. Now this is going to be a different story. I'm going to have to get something small and kind of work it like that. This is definitely not going to fit in there. I need a very, very small block of some kind. We'll figure it out. Alright, I found this. It's for taking off dirt nibs and specks out of your paint job. And I think that's the perfect little block to do what we got to do here. All I got to do is take this out of here. There's a little magnet in there. And I'm just going to use the back side of this with some sandpaper. Probably use 1,000 other things, but you know what? It's going to work. Let's see how well. One more quick round with the 150, then we'll hit it with the 600, and this thing will be ready to be cleaned again. That is much smoother. No big burrs hanging off of there. Gasket's going to lay down nice. All the garbage is removed from the surface on both sides. And hopefully that will ensure that we don't have any oil leaks. Ready to be cleaned, and then we can move on to this project. Okay, so we have this marked according to the sheet. I measured it with the calipers. Turn that off. I measured it with the calipers from the stud here to the tip. These are totally different on the inside, so I measured the distance. We're within 1/8. I'm going to leave the line. We're going to check it and see. We're going to cut this, and then we're going to try and put this puppy back in here. You're going to slice and dice. Now, everybody, be careful with these things. There's the reason they call this the death wheel. One of these things chips off and hits you in the throat or the face. You're hating life. You happy with that so far? All right. Clean that up and see where we're at. So we're continuing on with this oil pickup. I cut this at 45, smoothed off all the edges with some 150 or some 80, and then some 150 grit paper. And then I had to take a little 150 on here and smooth this off a little bit. And then clean everything with brake cleaner. And let me hit this real quick. And then I think what we're going to use for this is this stuff. It's supposed to be high strength but removable. Let me blow this out first. Let's see if we can get this thing in here. Put here and here.
More. There it is. Just a touch more. We are pretty much home. Ow, pinch my finger. Alright.
Can you see that? We're lined up with the hole. She's in. I'm gonna leave this sitting like this so the orange Loctite doesn't drip all over the place. It actually stays in that little hole that I made. Well, I guess I'll put it over here. But I'm gonna stand it up. Like, subscribe, buy parts from the parts list. I'm an Amazon affiliate. I get a couple cents off of every sale. It helps. Please subscribe. I'm looking at the analytics of my channel, and it's like, I don't know, 98% of the people that watch the channel are not subscribed. Just subscribe. It's free. All right, everybody. Have a great day.